Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream. So I hope everyone is doing well. Let me just close some of the windows and open the chat. How can we do that? Okay, like this. Minimize this. Okay. I think that should work. Let me see. Hello, everyone. So I hope everyone is doing well. We are getting some activity in the markets. So I think the star of the show is currently the New Zealand and the Japanese yen on the 1 hour chart. So if you guys don't know, I'm trading two strategies. Okay, the first one is just the 1 hour chart, only technical analysis, no news, no indicators, and there was a very nice sell setup which did not fully fit my plan. But I do know Griff from Zentum Trading did take this trade, okay? And he took it with like a 10 or 15 pip stop loss, not sure, possibly 15. Nice sell-off, one candle pullback, break of the low. Okay, wick here on the bottom is what was problematic for me personally. So we actually did also discuss this. We did discuss this on our call yesterday, on the Zentum call. And the wick is what I didn't like, but Griff didn't mind the wick. Also Nico as well, both of them took this trade, but Nico got taken out for a reduced risk loss. Griff had a little bit of different market data, so he managed to stay in. So yeah, he got taken in. Then we broke the low, reduced the risk, and then this candle tagged Nico out, but Griff had a little bit of different data, and he managed to stay in, and currently this is running some pretty nice percentage, maybe like 8 or 9%. So yeah, definitely congrats to Griff. I'm sure he's gonna make a post in Zentum trading about it. Currently, I think he has locked in around 4% of profits for this trade. That is the way we manage our trades at Zentum. We basically put the stop loss 2 pips below the most recent high. And there was also a scale-in opportunity, which I was looking at as well. Right here to take possibly a sell setup, but again, just these double wicks and the break for me personally wasn't enough to take a trade. I'm kind of looking for very clean setups, like 10 out of 10 setups preferably. This one was a little bit problematic. So yeah, for me personally, also this scale-in wasn't something I wanted to take, okay? But I know both Griff and Nico did take this scale-in as well. So they took another sell position. I think they used maybe like 15 pips here. And this one is running some profits as well. And this is usually how it goes with the strategy, okay? You get a nice steady trend, especially on the JPY pairs. We really love trading JPY pairs. Mr. Player, hey brother, does your Gorilla strategy still work? I have seen Jesse saying that strategy is not working. He blown up half of his funding. Well, so at Zentum we trade something similar to the Gorilla strategy because the three of us mentors actually all met in Gorilla trading. So we took the strategy, added some of our own things, improved it. We are still trading it. I would say it definitely does still work, but we have had a bit of a rough period, okay? So we have had a bit of a drawdown, a bit of a quiet period, bit of a rough period. And that is what happens with a lot of strategies, or with most strategies. You're gonna get a quiet period of maybe even a few months, maybe even for the whole year. But as you can see, this is the trade according to that methodology, which is 1 hour chart, purely price action, purely technical analysis, no news, no indicators. And Griff is running like possibly 9% with the first trade and like 3% with the second trade. So he's currently up possibly around 11-12%, which is enough to bring you out of a massive drawdown, right? This is definitely enough to bring you out of a massive drawdown. And again, the strategy is a low win rate strategy, so around 20 to 30% win rate. That's what happens. You get a lot of losses, a lot of small losses, and then you get a couple of massive winners like this. So very interesting stuff. But yeah, because of the slow period that we had in the last few months, I decided to trade another strategy. Okay, so now I'm trading two strategies. The OG Zentum strategy on 6 currency pairs and the new fundamental strategy that has more to do with fundamental analysis, higher time frames, stuff like that. What both of these strategies have in common is entry patterns on the 1 hour chart. So I use entry patterns on the 1 hour chart for both, and also trailing stop losses. Okay, so I use a trailing stop loss approach for the first strategy and the second strategy as well. Okay, so hey James, how are you doing? I did take a trade on NJ right here. It was a buy setup. So let me show you that. Let me break that down as well. Unfortunately, it ended up a loss. Okay, so starting with the daily chart, this was a trade that I took because of the second strategy. So James asks, did you take the NJ short? No, unfortunately I didn't. It didn't fully fit my plan. I'm a bit careful because I'm in a drawdown right now, so I'm a bit careful with those entries. So unfortunately I did stay out of the short. Did you take it? Because there were two opportunities. Did you maybe take both? So the first one was right here, and the second one was right here. And I personally didn't take any of them. Okay, so maybe if you can write down in the chat if you took number 1 or number 2. Okay, so yeah, both. Okay, you took both. Nice, congrats. Yeah, that's great. That's running some great percentage. So definitely great job with that. I do like the setups. They just weren't like 10 out of 10 setups for me. Here because of the wick, here because of the slowdown and the small break. But I would say if you did take them, definitely nice work. What I did take is I took a setup here with the second strategy, which I'm gonna go over now. What I saw is, yeah, so Nico, feel sorry for Nico with the spreads. What happened for Nico is he got taken out prematurely because of bad spreads on his broker, or he had a bit of a different data feed than, let's say, Griff. So Nico unfortunately got taken out, and Griff stayed in the NJ short. Did you manage to stay in? I'm guessing, which broker are you using? If you can write down which broker you are on. I'm using IC Markets. Nico is using IC Markets. So possibly IC Markets didn't have the best spreads at that time. This trade, macroeconomic picture was bullish. Okay, so it was a risk-on environment back on, I think it was Monday this week. Okay, so risk-on, which means NJ should go up. So that means US stock market should go up, and that means New Zealand dollar should go up and the Japanese yen should go lower. That is what a risk-on environment does. Why? Because New Zealand has a lot of exports. New Zealand relies on it relies on economic growth. Okay, economic growth. Japanese yen, safe haven. Usually when there's a crisis in the world, a lot of people buy the Japanese yen or they buy gold. That is why risk on was good. So macroeconomic stuff was good. One, macro. Second, fundamental data. So fundamental data. We got some nice numbers from New Zealand. GDP, jobs, inflation, interest rates, blah, blah, blah. And some bad numbers for the yen. Okay, so that was good as well. That was bullish. Third thing, technicals or the daily chart. And then the fourth thing was 1 hour entry. Okay. So the daily chart was making higher highs, higher lows, grinding to the upside. So it was good. And then I zoomed in on the 1 hour, found a nice flag right here. Not the best of flags, but it was not bad. First high, first low, second high, second low. Blue candle is the entry. Stop loss was around 110 pips. That kind of made sense. 110, it was below this gap. So on the daily chart, it looked good as well. 110 pips, it looked okay. Also, you could do some Fibonacci's. So Fib retracement from, let's say, here to here, kind of below the 618 area. So I did like this, the 110 pip stop loss. What happened then? Price went into some profits and then unfortunately did take me out for a 1% loss. Okay, so got taken out for a loss right here. Price just could not continue. And then you got all of these short setups. So James says he is with Black Bull Markets. Okay. Hey, Laffy. Hey, Ender. Black Bull Markets, yeah, I think they are good. I haven't heard much about them. I don't think they are available for me here in Europe. Maybe they are. But I use IC Markets. Nico uses IC Markets and Griff uses IC Markets. The difference was the trailing stop losses. Nico used, I think, the TradingView FXCM feed for trailing his stop loss, right? So he got in a position right here. Let's say 15 pips. I'm not sure which stop loss, but he used this data feed for trailing his stop loss, while Griff used the pure IC Markets feed because he has a robot that trails positions automatically. Okay, so that was the difference. Hey Leslie, first time viewing, nice, awesome. Thank you for joining. Ender, hi Marco, I hope you're well. Yep, I'm doing good. Hope you are well as well. Elafi says, hello, I wonder what is your maximum drawdown of your account with the OG strategy? I would have to go through my Notion. Maybe like minus, I don't know, maybe like 10, 15%, something like that. Again, I've had some nice winners with the second strategy. So I'd have to do some filtering to see exactly how are the OG strategy trades performing. But I can tell you it's a deep drawdown, okay? So it's probably even more than 15%, which happens. I mean, it happens even the best of traders can get a massive drawdown. So even with a massive drawdown, or even the best of traders experience a massive drawdown. You can see it on DarwinX, for example. If you go to DarwinX, go to THA, and then basically you will see THA had a drawdown of like 15%. So, and he's one of the best traders, I would say, in the world. Ender says, I want to know the account history of this trader could be fake. Yeah, sure. Which trader? If you can give me more information or send me like a link or something, I'll take a look. Leslie asks, do you trade silver? Yes, I do. So let's see silver. Silver, I have my alert set. Where is my alert? It's here. So for silver, thing about silver is it's in a range currently. Pretty flat. So I'm just waiting for a breakout to the upside, break of these highs, or possibly a break of these lows. I would prefer for us to break the highs, of course. So until we break that high and continue up, I'll be just patient. I'll be waiting for silver. One thing I do like is if you go to XAUUSD /XAGUSD. See this. So this is the ratio. This is the ratio between gold and silver. Okay, this is the ratio. And you can see currently we're kind of in the upper limit of the ratio. That means gold is worth much more than silver. And the medium, is kind of here. So it is very likely that in the, let's say, next few months or maybe next few years, silver will have a massive bullish rally to catch up to gold. Okay, so for this ratio to come down, for this chart to be kind of in the medium, in the mean. So that's interesting. And that means I would not be surprised if I see, come on, if I do see silver do something like this. Okay, so I'm definitely closely watching silver. Looks very interesting if we get a breakout to the upside. If we don't, I'll just be patient. That means we shall remain flat. Okay, so that is what I'm watching for silver. I want to do the rest of the currencies for this sort of OG strategy. So right now, EU is not looking the best. It's looking flat. The pound is looking flat. Aussie dollar kind of going lower, but very correctively. So sort of correctively descending like this, which is not the best formation. What do we have here? Okay, so we did have PPI, which came in negative. We're going to take a look at what that means for... Elafi says, what is the indicator you have that draws the little gray horizontal lines, swing highs? It's this one. Okay, GT recent high low by Bong Hyun. That's the one. And that draws the breaks. Okay, you have the breaks and you have these red lines, the most recent high and the most recent low right here. So Aussie dollar is pretty corrective. EJ moving down very nicely. This looks great actually. EJ looks very bearish. So I'm definitely looking for like short-term sell setups. Yeah, no worries, Alafi. Definitely looking for sell setups on EJ. Okay. Looks nice. I'm gonna let me do this. AJ also moving lower, but kind of correctively right now. You know, it's breaking the lows and leaving wicks. So I don't really like that price action. You have some smaller candles, bullish candle here as well. I would like to see more momentum like this and then for a sell setup. And NJ also moving lower, but again, kind of struggling a bit to move lower, you know, printing some wicks to the downside, huge wick here, large wick there, large wick. So I want to see more commitment. What is this? Okay, we have a GDP growth rate, which could be pretty volatile for the Japanese yen. Interesting. If we can continue a bit lower with more momentum, I will definitely look for some sell setups. Okay, I'll definitely look for some sell setups. I need just a bit, so I need more momentum. So that's about it for NJ. We did have some news this week. If you check these little boxes, so we had the PPI, we had the inflation rate as well. So let's see what that means for the US dollar. And the best way to do that is to take a look at the Edge Finder. Okay, so let's take a look at the Edge Finder. Let's see what is going on here. So if we go to, let me see, economic heat maps, US economic heat map. Okay. Let's see. So we had sales this week. We had CPI, we had PPI, US jobless claims, mortgage. Okay, so let's see the numbers. Actually, so retail sales came in bullish for the dollar. CPI came in bearish for the dollar. PPI came in bearish for the dollar. Okay, jobless claims came in neutral. Let's see. Mortgage came in bearish. So quite a bearish week for the dollar, I would say. And what is bearish for the dollar in this case is actually bullish. For stocks, okay, because it is inflation numbers. This CPI is very important inflation number. So Elafi says kind of mixed data, I guess, a little bit. Ender says I'm sending the link to your Discord because it seems here it gets deleted. Okay, sure, yeah, you can send me the link on Discord. I won't take a look at it now. Maybe I can. Let me see. If I open my Discord. Let's see. Okay, I can do it. I can open it. My FX book. Okay, let me see if you guys see it. Interesting stuff. Okay. Let's see. Great. Okay, it's on the screen as well. So, let me minimize this. Ender asks, is this a fake trader? Is this a fake trader? let me first see. So it's from January to May. Okay, so it's 5 months. It's not that bad. It's okay. Drawdown 1.47, gain 67.11. X Helium, that's the broker. What does that mean? I don't think this is a verified broker. I've never heard of it. And this is fake, I would say. So I would definitely say this. What's the win rate? 71%, 76%. Look at the best trade compared to the worst trade. That's like a telltale sign. So the best trade is 14,000, 15,000, and the worst trade is 1.4. Okay, with a 71 or 76% win rate. So this is, in my opinion, absolutely fake. And this trader is absolutely not to be trusted, okay? Definitely a fake trader. Look at the leverage that he's getting on this broker. 1 to 3,000. Okay, the only broker that offers this sort of leverage is like super sketchy, super fake brokers. So that's the verdict. Absolutely fake. The best trade to the worst trade ratio is totally weird. The best trade is so big compared to the worst trade. And with this win rate, it's impossible to have these statistics. Okay, so yeah. Thank you for sharing. Very interesting stuff. If you guys have more of these fake MyFX books, I would definitely like to take a look. So thank you for sharing, and hopefully that is helpful for you to not trust this guy at all. This is a fake trader. Okay. Let's see. Leverage to 3,000. Yeah, that's insane. I've never seen a broker offer 1 to 3,000 leverage. The most I've seen is 1 to 500. And that's like sketchy territory, right? And 1 to 3,000, that's extremely sketchy. You should run away because that broker is there to get your money. He wants you to over leverage, and then he probably expands the spreads, has massive commissions. So it's just a scheme to take as much money out of your account as they can. So these are the numbers. You can see the stocks impact kind of bullish. So the inflation print came in bullish. The PPI print came in bullish for stocks, but bearish for the dollar. Interesting stuff. You can see the general summary. Yeah, no worries, Ender. The general summary is the bullish impact currently for the dollar is 41%. For stocks, it's like 50-50. So no really massive clear bias. Let's see for the Japanese yen. Japanese yen is actually bearish at this time. You can see the last number that came in was PPI, and it came in neutral. We are getting the GDP soon. Okay, we're getting the GDP in maybe a couple of hours, if I saw that correctly. So we will see what will happen with the GDP growth rate. That is interesting stuff. So back to TradingView. Those were the news. And I did isolate EJ as being like the best for me to consider some sell setups according to my short-term strategy. Okay, so EJ for the first strategy, that's my pick. Now for the second strategy, okay, let me also add US oil, like this. I have these three things. I have the Nasdaq, I have Bitcoin, I have US oil. Okay. Starting with the Nasdaq, I'm looking at this level to buy. Looking at this level right here for some nice buy setups. I'm waiting for a pullback. So hopefully we don't just explode to the upside without any pullbacks. That would be a big problem for me. We are approaching the all-time highs. We're very close. Let's see. Yeah, we're very close. So hopefully we do get a bit of a retrace. Touch the support level, and then I can consider some buy setups on the 1 hour chart. At this point right here, price looks overextended. It looks too far away from, let's say, the 20 EMA. Just looks too bullish for me. So I'm looking for that pullback. I'm waiting for a pullback. It's a pretty similar story with Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a great run. So crypto did very good. You can see Ethereum also massive bullish run. Ethereum is up, let's see, 84.5% from the lows. That's massive. So that is absolutely massive. For Bitcoin, this was a nice run as well. Let's see from the lows. 38%, pretty good. Very close to the all-time highs. As we can see here, very close to it. We have crushed the 100K mark. Again, I don't want to buy here straight on the top. I would like to see a bit of a pause, a bit of a pullback, a bit of a retrace, and then I would consider getting in some buy setups. So that's my goal. I have a couple of areas marked. I have this area for potential buys. Maybe we go a bit lower to here. How would that look on the 1 hour chart? So if we descend a bit, bounce, and then like a flag, I'll look to buy right here with a pretty big stop loss like this. That's the game plan. Or maybe we go down even lower. So maybe we descend all the way to here, bounce, get a bit of a push, get a flag, break and retest, a liquidity sweep, reversal, any sort of an entry setup that I use. And then I would look for buys right here. So that's my game plan for Bitcoin. The last one I do have for today on my watch list is oil. Okay, and these are all of the setups that are on the Edge Finder as well. So if we go to the Edge Finder, if we go to the top setups page, you can see you have the Nasdaq, you have NJ was there as well. It's still here, but I took a loss. Bitcoin is here. US oil is here as well. Okay. See, US oil bullish. So all of these things are on the watch list. They're looking pretty good. They're looking pretty interesting. Other than that, do I like anything else? Let me see quickly. There are some JPY pairs. Is there USD JPY? Let's take a look at the USD JPY. Maybe that could be an interesting play. Although the US dollar is not the strongest right now, especially with the data coming out this week. But also let's first do US oil. So with US oil, I'm also looking at a specific level for this one. And this is the daily chart. The level is right here. Okay. Level of support. So if we can touch that area, we have already kind of went into it, but let's say we retrace a bit more and then show me an entry on the 1 hour chart, I would be happy to get in. Let me see it on the 1 hour chart as well. Yeah, if we can pull back a bit more, I would be interested. Why am I interested? Well, we're getting a bit of a risk-on environment. Fundamental data is looking good for oil right now. Not looking very bullish, but a little bit bullish. And also this level of price is when the oil producers, they start losing money. If the price goes lower to, let's say, 52, 50, 48 per, I think it's per barrel, then the big oil producers, they start losing money and they possibly will need to like shut down their business. So it's in their best interest to defend this level of price. Definitely to defend this level of price any way that they can. So I don't think we're gonna go much lower. I do think this could be a nice bottom and we maybe go to the upside, right? Maybe to like this level would be nice, possibly even higher to here, but just this first level, not a bad risk to reward. You know, if I get an entry, let's say something like this, with a stop loss like this, and this would be like a 4-to-1 possibly, bit of a bigger stop, 4-to-1, very nice setup. I do like that. So that's the game plan for US oil. Definitely looking for bullish setups. And if you guys have any questions or any chart requests, I have my chat open on the screen. So definitely put any requests in the chat. Let's check out US dollar JPY, USD JPY, because that was on the watch list as well. So if we go to, let's do and the data. Daily chart. There is a clear trend line going through this thing. The trend line has been broken. We broke it with this candle. Now we are kind of retracing possibly to this level of support right here. So the fundamental data is bullish. Macroeconomic picture, currently it's risk on. Risk on should in theory benefit the US dollar and be bad or be bearish for the Japanese yen. So macroeconomics are bullish for basically USD JPY. Third thing, the technicals, they're not looking that bad. Okay, they're not looking that bad. So maybe getting in on a buy setup somewhere around this level is not that bad of an idea. I personally, I'm a bit patient. And in terms of the macro picture, or in terms of the fundamental data, this week has been bad for the dollar, as we saw on the Edge Finder. So if we go back to Edge Finder, we go to US economic heat map, you can see CPI came in bearish for the dollar, PPI came in bearish for the dollar, mortgage numbers came in bearish for the dollar, and the jobless claims came in neutral. So a lot of bearish news for the dollar this week. So I don't really want to go and risk a trade here. Maybe if we get some more bullish numbers. Okay, James asks, how has the fundamental strategy been going for you so far in terms of backtesting and live trading results? So very good actually. So I did take some winners, I did take some losses. I think I took maybe 2 winners and 3 losses so far. Or no, sorry, 3 winners and 3 losses so far. But I had some great trades on gold. So overall, I think I'm up around maybe 3 to 4% on this new fundamental strategy. In terms of backtesting, I haven't done much backtesting. I maybe did the last year of backtesting on a couple of currency pairs. But to be honest, in backtesting, I do have the Edge Finder data, because if you go to score history graph, you can backtest this. You can go back as far as the last year. So you can get some fundamental data for backtesting, but it's tough to get a macroeconomic picture if you want to backtest this strategy. So I just did the last year on, I think, euro dollar, pound dollar, and I think I did gold as well. It was pretty good results. So I'm pretty happy to have started live trading it. And so far the results have been nice in terms of the win rate. So for the OG strategy, the win rate is 20 to 30%. For this one, it's around 50%. That's good. And gold was pretty good to me. So we had this nice uptrend. I took two winners. I think I went long here. And also I think I went long somewhere here. Yeah, so I think I went long here and possibly somewhere here. So took some nice winners on gold through this uptrend. Elafi says, what do you think about Aussie JPY? Because I have a bullish bias. Aussie had a great data employment today. Okay, let's take a look. So let's first see the economic heat map. Aussie. Employment change, or unemployment rate, sorry. Unemployment rate. It came in the same as the forecast. So I'm not sure which numbers you're looking at, but as far as I can see, the last number that came in for the Aussie is the unemployment rate. It came in today and it came in the same as the forecast, which is a neutral reading for the currency. Okay, it's a neutral reading. Let's see the New Zealand quickly. Well, New Zealand is very bullish here on the Edge Finder, on fundamental data, very bullish. So Elafi, if you could just mention which number exactly are you referring to? But it is overall bullish. You can see the impact on the currency on the Aussie is around 60% bullish, right? So these numbers are mostly giving a bullish reading. Okay. James says very nice. Yeah, thank you. I really like it. I'm kind of sad I didn't catch this setup on NJ with the OG strategy. Pretty nice trades, you know, here the sell setup, here as well. But it is what it is. You can't catch them all. And I've been pretty careful lately. I have been looking for those perfect setups because of the drawdown. So I really don't want to take too many losses. I want to be a little bit more patient. I want to really focus on those, let's say, no-brainer setups. So it is what it is. At least Griff and Nico managed to catch these sell setups. So that's good. That's about it for my watch lists. So I have EJ to sell short term on the 1 hour, and I have Nasdaq, Bitcoin, oil to buy. But I'm looking for those pullbacks. We're not getting them yet. Let's do some more instruments. So let's do gold. For gold, this is the daily chart. Current risk on environment is not helping. Okay, current risk on environment is definitely not helping gold. It's definitely printing some bearish pressure as far as I can see. From the high, we had a retrace of 7.93%. So not looking the best right now. Am I looking for buy setups here? No, because the macroeconomic environment is bearish right now for gold. It is currently risk on. So stocks are going up. Stocks are looking pretty healthy. This is the S&P. This is the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is higher today, around 32%, which means gold is probably gonna overall be trending down. Let's see it on the Edge Finder as well. So if you go to Edge Finder, if we go to the top setups scanner, okay, if we go to the top setups scanner, if we go to asset gold, let's see, the fundamentals are kind of neutral. Okay, just the pure numbers are kind of neutral right here. Leslie asks, how do I find the Edge Finder? So there should be a link in the description of this live stream. It is on a1trading.com. So if you type in A1 Trading, okay, and then go to Edge Finder, it's gonna be there, okay. And if you want a discount, you can use my code, which is MARKO, okay. So if you want to get a discount on the software, definitely use my code. Elafi says, yeah, no worries, Leslie. Elafi says 89K for employment change versus 20K forecast. I have it on Forex Factory. We can take a look. Let's see. Is it under trading forex calendar? Let's go to filter. So we need just the Aussie, apply, employment change. Okay, so on the Edge Finder, there's only the rate. Okay, so the Edge Finder only takes into account the rate. There's no employment change number. If we go back to economic heat maps, we go to the Aussie. Yeah, there is no employment change as far as I can see. No, there is actually. Okay, but it didn't update the date. That's why I didn't see it. Sorry. So my mistake. Yes, they do have it. So it's 89K. 89K. The forecast was 20.9K. So very bullish impact. Nice. So yeah, thank you for clearing that up. There's a bit of an error here. Looks like it didn't read the forecast and it didn't update the date. You can see it's 1st of April and this is actually 15th of May. Today is 15th of May. So this should say 15th of May and this should say 20.9K instead of being blank. That's good. That's great. Yeah, no worries, Leslie. Alafi, all right, don't have the Edge Finder yet, but one day. Yeah, no worries. I know it's kind of expensive. So if you can't afford it yet, I highly recommend watching Trader Nick's channel, okay? Trader Nick, either he has a daily live stream or he posts a daily video and he goes through the Edge Finder. So if you cannot afford it yet, you can see the daily standings, or you can see what he is watching for on his YouTube. So I would highly recommend doing that. I watch his videos every day just to get an update of what is going on with the macroeconomic situation. And you can also get a reading from his Edge Finder because he goes through it in his live streams and in his videos. Also, wage and in details, I have seen partial and full-time jobs, great numbers too. Okay, awesome. So definitely some bullish news for the Aussie yen. And it's printing very bearish price action right now, which is funny. So what you guys need to know for fundamentals take a lot of time to play out. Okay, fundamental data takes a couple of days, maybe even a couple of weeks to actually get priced in right now. Or not priced in right now, but to get priced into the charts. So on the 1 hour chart, I don't think you're gonna see much price action, let's say much action in the price with strong bullish fundamentals on the Aussie. But in the next couple of days, maybe we go a bit lower and then we should start an uptrend. Okay, because what I saw is some really strong fundamentals. That's why I put it on my watch list. Yeah, AJ looks great. Fundamentally, it looks great. Okay, on the daily chart, it looks pretty healthy as well. Why? Well, because we are getting higher highs and higher lows. That is a sign of a trending market. But if we really zoom in, the 1 hour looks bearish. Okay, the 1 hour has a lot of selling pressure. So it all depends. Are you more of a short-term trader or are you more of a long-term trader, right? My first strategy is more for short-term trading. My second strategy is more for long-term trading, okay? So for gold, my game plan is to wait for the macro environment to change back to risk off. If that happens, if we get a lot of bad news for the tariffs, if we get possibly a war, if we get some sort of a crisis, that's risk off. That's gonna mean gold will be bullish. Second thing I'm waiting for is good fundamental data. So I'm waiting for the Edge Finder software to become bullish. Okay, waiting for the Edge Finder to become bullish. And then I'll be pretty happy to look for buys again on gold. And I'm pretty grateful I managed to squeeze out some percentage in this uptrend. It was very nice. So in these markets, you don't even have to be seller of anything, so you don't have to short anything. You can make money by always buying stuff. For example, during risk on, you can just get in on these stocks, you can get in on the uptrend. And during risk off, you can buy gold because they move inversely, right? When stocks go up, gold usually goes down. When stocks go down, gold usually goes up. So that's pretty cool. You don't even have to be a short seller in the markets to get in on every sort of a market environment, both risk on and risk off. Elafi says swing, yeah, more like 4 hour, 8 hour, 1 day, sometimes 1 hour. Yeah, for swing trading, with the fundamentals, with the macroeconomic environment in mind, you need the higher time frames. It is just the way things work, right? You need those higher time frames. The daily chart is what I like for a general assessment of the trend. And then for entries, I use the 1 hour chart to look for, let's say, like a flag or a break and retest or a reversal entry, any sort of an entry. I don't really need a clean one. I just need a basic entry to get in on buy setups. Okay, so that was gold. Silver, we covered. Silver, I'm just waiting for a breakout. I think Leslie asked about silver before, so just waiting for a breakout. S&P 500. S&P is up today by 0.42%. That's okay, that's nice. Same story as the Nasdaq. I don't really want to see this go up without me. I do have some long-term positions in the S&P, but I would like to get in some short-term trades as well. I would like to see a bit of a pullback, and then we go up, right? So I wish to get a bit of a pullback. I don't want to buy here straight on the top. It's not the way I want to trade this strategy. It's kind of chasing the price, because then your risk to reward is pretty bad as well. If you're constantly buying on the top of the move, your risk to reward is not going to be the most optimal. But I am bullish. Okay, currently I am definitely bullish. VIX. So the VIX is just sort of an indicator. The VIX is just something that tells me if the S&P is in trouble or if the S&P is going up. Usually VIX, so the VIX measures the volatility of the S&P 500 options market. If the VIX is going up, S&P usually is crashing. If the VIX is going lower, usually that's very bullish for the S&P 500. Usually that means a risk-on environment. We are now back at the levels from March. If we can get back to these levels right here, that's going to be a great case for the S&P, in my personal opinion. So if we can get back to these levels like 15.5, 16, okay, that's a good level as well. So if we can come down a bit lower, that's going to be good. This is just an indicator. I don't trade the VIX. I do maybe think there's an option to trade volatility, to trade the VIX in the options market, but I'm not sure. I'm not an expert in the options market or on the VIX. Just an indicator, okay? So I just use it as an indicator. Ethereum, we mentioned. We mentioned Ethereum, that it looks great. This is the daily chart. We have kind of woken up from the dead for Ethereum. I bought some longs back here. I bought some Ethereum for a long-term hold right here. Not yet at break even, so currently my Ethereum is bearish, but we're getting close. Okay, we're getting close. If we can go up a bit more, I'll be break even at least. Bitcoin, my long-term holds are doing pretty well. Okay, Bitcoin, I did buy. Where did I buy this thing? I think I bought it somewhere here. Okay. So yeah, currently up on Bitcoin, a bit negative on Ethereum for a long-term hold setup. So we will be wrapping up the stream in like 5 or 10 minutes. If you guys have any last questions or any chart requests, definitely put them in the chat right now so that we can go through it at the end of the stream. The last two things I have is the DXY and the JXY. For those of you that are unfamiliar what these things represent, well, the DXY is the dollar index, and it actually measures the strength of the US dollar compared or relative to other currencies. Okay, and the JXY measures the strength of the Japanese yen relative to other currencies. Elafi says, I have to go. Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you, Marco. I appreciate your live. Yeah, no worries. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all of the comments. I really do appreciate you guys commenting. It makes the streams more active, makes the streams more interactive, makes them a lot more fun for me, because staring at the screen for 1 hour with no interaction, it's pretty boring. Okay, so thank you for joining. Leslie says, can you show oil again? Sure, we'll go through oil. Sibu Siso says, what is the indicator? The indicator is this one. Okay, GT recent high low by Bong Hyun. And it just highlights the breaks of the most recent highs and the most recent lows, and also gives you a line for the most recent high and the most recent low right here. How many users are using it? 329. That's good. Okay, so let's do oil before the DXY. Oil, I'm bullish. Okay, oil is bullish. Here, if we go to the top setups, if I search for oil, bullish, retail is bearish. That means you should be bullish. Seasonality is bullish. Trend is bullish. PMI is bullish. Sales, employment change. So nice scores. It's an okay score. You can see the seasonality for oil. This is pretty cool. Monthly seasonality. You can see oil. What are the best months for oil? Usually it is February, May, and June. Okay, so usually these 3 months are the best for oil. So that's pretty interesting. Rest of the months are really bad. I don't know why. Maybe it makes some sort of a sense why May and June are this bullish. Okay, let's close this. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT why oil goes up in May and June. Maybe ChatGPT will know more. Leslie says, I enjoy your stream very much. Thanks. No worries, Leslie. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. And definitely do come back next week. So next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. London time, we're going to have the stream again. So same day, same time. It's gonna be fun. So the DXY is looking kind of neutral. Okay, for me personally, the DXY is looking a bit neutral right here. We had the massive selling pressure. Sibusiso says, can you please show the DAX? For sure, yeah, we can take a look. So massive selling pressure here. And now we're getting a bit of a flip. Getting a bit of buying pressure right here. But still, I'm not sure who is winning. Okay. I'm not sure who is in control. We did get some bearish news for the dollar this week. So we had we had the inflation print. Sorry about that. So we had the inflation print and we had the, I believe it's retail sales. Both came in bullish, or sorry, bearish for the dollar. I would say this is pretty neutral. Okay, I would say this is currently neutral. the DAX index. Daily chart. This looks great. Very bullish. We had the V reversal. Let's see how long this lasted. 58 days. We were down 21%. Now we're up from the bottom 28%. So that's great. That's very bullish. I think the Edge Finder is bullish as well. Top setups. DAX. Yeah, very bullish. You have retail, which is bearish, so you need to be bullish. Seasonality, nice trend, PMIs, sales, interest rates. Everything is looking great, actually. You know what? If we do get a pullback, I don't think this is a bad play. If we pull back like this and get a buy setup, you know, I don't think that's bad. I think that would be pretty interesting. So I will continue watching the DAX. At this point, it's a bit overextended, I would say. So at this point, I think I would not be a buyer because I would need to see a bit of a pullback. Just a little bit of a pullback, preferably to this level of support, and then I think buy setups wouldn't be so bad. Okay, Sam, hello Sam. Can we buy the S&P 500 right now? I personally wouldn't buy it right now. I think it's a bit overextended. I think it's a bit too far away from the 20 EMA. I would like to see a bit of a retrace first, but the macroeconomic picture is risk on, so the macroeconomic picture is bullish. Fundamental data is bullish as well. We're getting some good numbers out of the United States. You can see it here. If we go back to the US, so for stocks we got so retail sales, PPI, CPI, all three bullish. Okay, very bullish for the stock market. That's good. But I think we're a bit overextended. So I would like to see this pull back a little bit to, let's say, this level of support. And then I would look for buy setups. I think then we could have a nice opportunity to get in on a buy setup. So I hope that answers your question. I think we're a bit overextended, but I am bullish. JXY, so the Japanese yen index. For this one, we are currently bearish. I mean, we are kind of moving down ever since 22nd of April. We are creating lower highs and lower lows. If we look at the fundamentals, the Japanese economic heat map, you can see the bullish impact is only 37.5%. So Japanese yen is currently pretty bearish overall. That's why this chart is going down. It makes sense because of the risk-off environment we're getting. Okay, we're getting a risk-off environment. So stocks are going up, which means the Japanese yen is going down a little bit. Let me also see if we can do this. So if we can do S&P 500 / JXY. Okay, so I made a mistake. Okay, so this should be the stock market, the US stock market compared to the Japanese yen, to the Japanese yen index. Okay, so yeah, I don't really know if we can do a lot of analysis from this chart. I think the gold to silver ratio makes a lot more sense. But what you can see is this was definitely risk off. right? This was the tariffs, and now this is the recovery from the tariffs, right? This is the recovery from the tariffs. Okay. Don says, isn't it risk on since stocks is up? Yeah, it is. It is. Currently, we are in a risk on market. Yes. So this was risk off. Let's write it down. Risk off. And this is considered now a risk on market because you're getting trade deals. And this whole thing, this whole meltdown was because of the tariffs. But because of the new trade deals and because of the 90-day pause, on tariffs, we are now getting a nice risk on environment. So because of that, I'm looking for buy setups on the Nasdaq, on Bitcoin, on US oil. That's about it. And I'm not looking for buys on gold because we are in risk on. Okay, so hopefully that helps. So that is about it. That's about it for this live stream. Thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for joining. Thank you for all the questions. I think this stream we had a lot of questions, which is great to see. That is one of the reasons why I chose to do live streams instead of, let's say, daily videos or like a market forecast, because I wanted to be a bit more interactive. So yeah, staring at the screen for 1 hour is pretty boring, but if I have questions, then it makes it a lot more entertaining and a lot more interactive. Yeah, and if you guys have any last minute questions, put them in the chat right now. So Sam has a question. What is your opinion on the US economy in the future since tariffs? I think the US will do just fine, okay? I do think in the future, we're gonna get even more trade deals. Countries are gonna come together. They're gonna make more agreements, and you're gonna see the dollar possibly rebound a little bit because of that, like this. And the stock market, I definitely see us going to all-time highs, okay? So even if we do correct, I do think eventually we will continue higher. It is just what the S&P has been doing for decades now, you know. For decades, we have just been going to the upside. So I do think that is just going to continue. I don't think the tariffs will be a big negative impact on the US economy long term. Okay, short term, yes, they were definitely a negative impact. But long term, I do think it's going to balance out. We're going to have trade deals. The tariffs will be lowered, or there will be like a removal of tariffs. So it'll be fine. It'll be fine. US economy is going to do well. US is the most powerful economy. Everything is quoted in dollars. If you want to buy gold, if you want to buy oil, it's all quoted in US dollars. So to buy it, you need US dollars. So the world currently runs on the US dollar, which means it runs on the US economy in a way. Okay, no worries Don, no worries Ender, no worries Sam. If you guys want to get updates on the live stream, definitely follow me on Instagram, okay? So my Instagram is Marcos Trading Journey. That's my Instagram handle. All of the updates go on there in a form of like a story, okay? A story update on Instagram. But usually I live stream every Thursday at around 5 p.m. London time, okay? Thursday, 5 p.m. London time. I'm going to put it in the chat. Thursday, 5 p.m. London time. Okay, account 69. Thoughts on Bitcoin? Sure, let's do Bitcoin. Bullish, very bullish. I'm looking for entry setups. So the macroeconomic environment is risk on, fundamental data is bullish, and technical analysis bullish as well. I need a pullback though. Okay, I want to see a pullback. I don't want to buy here on the top of this move. I want to see us pull back a little bit, and then I would consider getting in on buy setups. So it is on my watch list. I'm actively looking for buy setups, and Bitcoin does look good. So that's about it. Thank you guys very much for watching, and see you next Thursday.